For more on Virginia's legislative elections, we have Melhor Leonor. She's a reporter from the Richmond Times-Dispatch. Mel, thank you so much for being with us. What does it say about politics in Virginia if the legislature flips blue?
I think a lot of people, especially Republicans, have been watching suburban areas here, and that's where a lot of the really contested races are. I think it would show that Republicans have lost significant ground in the suburbs in Virginia.
Well, we have heard from our reporters in Iowa that voters are not asking about impeachment or President Trump. Is that the same in Virginia?
I don't think that's true. I think Democrats here have been amplifying Trump's role. Biden this weekend was in Virginia talking about how the 2019 elections here in Virginia would be a referendum on the president. Impeachment is part of that conversation, I think.
Well, what are some of the biggest issues for voters in Virginia?
Healthcare is right at the top of public polling. People want their healthcare to be more affordable. Democrats have promised to continue the expansion of Medicaid in this state. Voters here also care about gun control. The shooting in Virginia Beach this summer in our state, and then the shootings in El Paso and Dayton have had campaigns talking about different proposals related to guns. I think even some conservatives here are talking about backing proposals like universal background checks. People here also care about education, and so education funding has been right up there for campaigns as well.
And we talked about Virginia Governor Ralph Northam a lot after photos from his medical school yearbook surfaced of him wearing blackface. How much of a presence has he had on the campaign trail? Have Democrats been seeking his help?
Well, the governor, in the aftermath of the blackface scandal, basically halted all of his political fundraising and political campaigning. But in recent months, we saw Democrats come closer to the governor and in some ways really rally around him. He, in the last couple of weeks, has been campaigning for some Democratic candidates. He went to churches with African-American candidates in the last few weeks to help them rally voters there. But at the same time, he is not the most prominent figure gathering support for Democrats. We saw former Governor Terry McAuliffe appear next to former Vice President Joe Biden this weekend instead of the governor.
And Mel, can you just give us a sense for people who might not be familiar, with sort of the history, both sort of recent and more distant history as well, of just the differences between when you talk about Northern Virginia and those areas closer to Washington, D.C., and then the southern part of the state? I think folks don't realize how vastly different those areas are in terms of demographics.
Definitely. We're not seeing really competitive races for Republicans in Southwest Virginia. That's all pretty red right now. And there are some Democratic candidates vying for seats there, but we're not expecting those races to flip. Northern Virginia, on the other hand, is very blue, and there is just one Republican seat in the House of Delegates there right now, and that race is pretty heated. So, yeah, very vastly different demographics in Northern Virginia and in the southwestern part of the state.
All right, Melhor Leonor. Mel, thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.